GST Business Models, Masters of Commerce, 4th semester, Mangalore University, Session 23. GST Business Models. In this session, you are going to learn about the GST business models of hotels. Learning objective to know about the GST business models on hotels. Session outcome, the students will be able to understand the provisions relating to hotel industry. Indian tourism industry is a major contributor to the Indian economy, and it is expected that it will grow at a higher pace in times to come and become a major revenue earning industry for the government. Hotels and restaurants are a major component of the tourism industry and can be termed as the backbone of the industry, without which the industry cannot survive. Further, it provides employment opportunities to a large population of the country, and a large number of micro, small, and medium entrepreneurs are dependent on this sector as a source of their livelihood. Thus, it becomes very important for the government to address the issues faced by the industry and ensure its smooth progression. In the erstwhile regime, hotel and restaurant industry was faced with the problem of compliance with multiplicity of taxes, namely the VAT, service tax, luxury tax, and even excise duties on manufacture of pastries, etc. However, with the advent of GST law, all these taxes have been subsumed under one single tax. However, with the new law has come a variety of new problems and issues which are facing the industry. Hotels may to be understood to be one providing facility of lodging or accommodation and may all or may not include fooding or other facilities. However, a restaurant may be meant to be a common place where people enjoy cooked food and other facilities as per their preferences. A restaurant does not provide any lodging facilities, but a hotel may also provide restaurant services in addition to lodging. The rate structure under the hotel and restaurant industry has undergone drastic changes within these initial years of the introduction of the GST law. So, the following table tells us about the rates of GST at the current rate of GST. So, first, all standalone restaurants, irrespective of air conditions, or if there is no air condition, then 5% GST is applicable without any input tax credit. Suppose if a hotel is engaged in food parcels or takeaway, then 5% GST is included without any input tax credit. Next, third is restaurants in hotel premises having room tariff of less than rupees 7,500 unit per day. So here 5% GST is chargeable without any input tax credit. Suppose if a restaurant in hotel premises is charging room tariff of rupees 7,500 and above per unit per day, even for a single room, then 18% GST is chargeable without any ITC. Then restaurants in hotel premises having Indian Railway Catering and Tourism Corporation Limited on their licenses or Indian Railways, then 5% GST is chargeable without any input tax credit. And next is outdoor catering services other than in premises having daily tariff of unit of accommodation of rupees 7,501, then 5% GST is chargeable without any input tax credit. Next, last is catering in premises with the daily tariff of unit of accommodation of rupees 7,501 and above, then 18%. So, whether declared tariff is relevant in determining the GST rate. Um, as per as per the notification of number 13 2018 of the central tax rate dated 26 July 2018, which is effective from 27/7/2018, which is read as in section B, in clause B in items 2, 6 and 8, for the words declared tariff, whether they occur, the words value of supply shall be substituted. And with effect from 27th July 2018, GST rate on hotel room tariff shall be determined on the basis of the value of supply, that is value actually charged in the invoice instead of the declared value. E-commerce operator. E-commerce operators like the Oyo Rooms, Swiggy, Zomato, etc. have become an indispensable part of the hotel and restaurant industry. A major portion of the revenues of the industry is routed through these online platforms. These operators route orders to hotels and restaurants, and in return they charge the commission from them at agreed rates. The impact of such transactions may be understood as under. First is GST on hotel tariff or restaurant bills shall be charged as usual according to the prescribed rates which is discussed. Next is GST on commission paid to the e-commerce operator shall be 18%. To understand this, let us go through the billing procedures which is followed by them. Here, if the room tariff charges is rupees 10,000, then they are going to give a discount of 30%, that is 3,000. So ultimately the net bill value will be 7,000. So if the room tariff is above 7,500, then 12% of GST is applicable. So 12% on room tariff will be 840. Then total payable by the customer is 7,840. Service fee of e-commerce operator which will be included in that itself, that is 40% of the net bill value, that is 2,800. So GST of 18% on service fee is 504, that is 18% of the service fee of e-commerce operator. Next, the total bill of e-commerce operator will be 3,304, that is 2,800 plus 504. And the net payable to hotel by the e-commerce operator is the total payable by the customer minus the total bill of the e-commerce operator. So it will be 4,536. In case of restaurants, one thing you have to note with regard to hotel is that the GST rate on hotel accommodation services is assumed to be 18% in this example, and however it can also be 12% also depending upon the room tariff in hotel. And the tax collected at source provisions on e-commerce operators have been ignored in the table, and in above example the transaction value was less than 7,500, and so 12% is charged and not 18%. Next is with regard to the restaurant industry. So here the restaurant bill will be 100 rupees and the discount will be 10%. So the net bill value is 90 rupees. So GST at 5% on the food bill, that is the net bill value into 5% GST, that is 4.5%. Total payable by customer, that is 90 plus 4.5, that is 94.5. Service fee of e-commerce operator is 10, and GST on service fee of e-commerce operator is 1.8. Total bill of e-commerce operator is 11.8. The net payable to restaurant by the e-commerce operator is 82.7, that is 94.5 minus 11.8. So the things that you have to note is that the GST rate on restaurant service is assumed to be 5% in the above example. However, it can also be 18% depending upon the room tariff in the hotel. Tax collected at source provisions on e-commerce operator have been ignored in this above table. Next is renting a banquet hall and catering the services. Banquet hall services are different from restaurants or hotel services. Under banquet hall services, the primary service provided is renting of a premises for conducting an event. It may be with or without accommodation, fooding facilities. However, under restaurant and hotel services, the basic service provided is food and accommodation respectively. In case banquet hall services are provided along with fooding and accommodation services, the same shall be considered as a composite supply of services, and the following SSC shall be applicable on such services. Next, the chapter or the section or the heading, heading 9963, accommodation of food and beverage services, description of service, Uh, the fourth provision tells that supply of outdoor catering at premises other than the specified premises provided by any person other than supplier providing hotel accommodation at specified premises or suppliers located in specified premises, the taxes will be 2.5% and 2.5%, that is 5%, and the input tax credit is not applicable. Suppose in case of composite supply of outdoor catering together with renting of premises including hotel, convention center, club, book, pandal, shamian or any other place specially arranged for organizing a function at premises other than specified premises provided by any person other than suppliers providing hotel accommodation at specified premises or suppliers located in specified premises, 5% tax is applicable, and there is no input tax credit available. Next is with regard to the time of supply. So as per section 13 of the CGST Act of 2017, time of supply in case of services shall be the earliest of the following. The first is the date of issue of invoice by the supplier if the invoice is issued within the period prescribed under subsection 2 of section 31, or the date of receipt of payment whichever is earlier, or the date of provision of service if the invoice is not issued within the period prescribed under subsection 2 of section 31, or the date of receipt of payment whichever is earlier, or the date on which the recipient shows the receipt of services in his books of account in case where the provisions of clause A or clause B do not apply. Thus, the time of supply in case of hotel and restaurant services shall be suppose if the invoice is generated, the time of issuance of invoice or the time of provision of services earlier, or the time of recording in the books of accounts. Suppose if invoices is not generated, then the time of receipt of payment or the time of provision of service earlier or the time of recording in the books of accounts. Next is place of supply. Section 10 clause 3 of the IGST Act of 2017 states that the place of supply of services by way of lodging accommodation by a hotel, inn, guest house, homestay, club or campsite by whatever name called and including a houseboat or any other vessel, or the place of supply of restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health service including cosmetic and plastic surgery shall be the location where the services are actually performed. So from above it is clear that the place of supply in case of hotel industry shall be the place of location of the immovable property, and in case of restaurant services shall be the location where the services are actually performed. The above provision gives rise to certain issues which has been discussed here. A supplier and the recipient are in separate states. Suppose if the hotel is located in Guwahati and the recipient of service is located in Delhi. In this case, the place of supply of service shall be Guwahati and CGST and Assam GST will be charged and no IGST. Further, the recipient of service will not be able to claim ITC of the tax paid on such transaction as GST paid in Assam is not eligible in Delhi GST. Next is with regard to place of supply of sales units, which is being dealt by section 7 clause 5 of the IGST Act of 2017 tells that supply of goods or services or both, and clause B tells that to or by a special economic zone developer or any special economic zone unit shall be treated to be a supply of goods or services or both in the course of interstate trade or commerce. So further, circular number 48 bar 22 bar 2018 GST dated on 14 June 2018 clarified that services of short-term accommodation, conferencing, banqueting, etc. provided to a sales developer or a sales unit shall be treated as an interstate supply. Thus, as evident from the above provisions, in case of supply of hotel or restaurant services to a cess unit shall be charged with IGST and not CGST and SGST. So, thus, to conclude, the industry, after much uncertainty, has finally reached a stage where we can say that the stabilization of rates has come. However, the pandemic has created havoc in the industry, and if proper incentives are not accorded to the sector, it might witness a collapse, and that will lead to a huge loss to all